All right, imagine being the head of security for a very large company, complaining to that company, hey, you don't have any security, you don't even know what data you're collecting. And then after that point, being threatened, being gaslighted, being micromanaged. That's exactly what happened to Atullah Beg, the ex-head of security for WhatsApp. And he's now suing Meta as a whistleblower. He was fired from his position this past year in February, and he says that Meta retaliated against him when he started pointing out the problems. Now, I read through almost all of his suit against Meta, and he bases his information why this is a legal risk to Meta because, and I didn't even know this, Meta paid a $5 billion penalty, the largest fine ever, 20 times the largest previous penalty, for its security claims to not represent its privacy or security claims for people's information, such as IP addresses and location. Now, Atullah Beg, he had 20 years of experience. He worked for places like PayPal and Capital One. And it's very interesting because of his work in Meta, he was actually doing his work, and that was part of the problem. He was running a red team program inside of WhatsApp, which is a common cybersecurity activity where you pretend you're an attacker and you attack WhatsApp in a realistic setting. And by doing this, he discovered that 1,500 engineers, many engineers across WhatsApp, had production access to data. They could take information such as address books or friends' contacts information without people knowing. Now, this isn't the content of the messages. He hasn't said that explicitly in his suit, but it's pretty much everything else, the metadata. And WhatsApp was crippling his ability to actually improve security. With 1,200 engineers at WhatsApp total, which this is interesting now because I'm going off of the suit, I'm guessing there are other engineers in Meta that have access to WhatsApp data. There's only 1,200 engineers for WhatsApp in total, and there's only 6 engineers working on security. Now, what Beg found was pretty funny from a corporate setting. This is exactly why I don't work for big corporations anymore. But the engineers prioritized busy work and not actually improving anything. They would create bugs for themselves, they would break things and fix them, and they would just do this a lot to create busy work and get promoted for the company, because it's all based off of metrics and goals that they have. And they just copied features from Signal, Telegram, iMessage. And server engineers would misconfigure and reconfigure the applications thousands of times per year just to justify their promotions, all while WhatsApp was losing billions of dollars a year. Now, when he brought this up to his supervisors, they downplayed it for a very long time. I mean, he was trying to improve things at WhatsApp from 2022 to 2024. And before this, he was getting great performance reviews, but after bringing this up and explicitly in a September 8th, 2022 meeting, when he shared an agenda detailing all of these issues, which I'll go into, and he's saying that Meta wasn't meeting its legal obligations under SEC, FTC settlements, then the retaliation started. His managers started checking in on him all the time, micromanaging him when this wasn't happening before, and critiquing him, giving feedback. And that's because of how WhatsApp does their career growth, or these factors that show that someone is performing well. One of those is how much time they have to spend with their manager. So if their manager is constantly asking for meetings, well, there you go. Now, about that same month, he received negative feedback for the first time and marked as need support. So it's interesting when he brings up these severe cybersecurity issues, that's when it starts happening. When he brings in that legal component, that's when he starts to get this retaliation. It's almost like they're trying to hide it, they're trying to threaten him to not bring it up. Now, what issues did he actually see? Well, he found that WhatsApp didn't even know how much data it collected across the entire application. There's no comprehensive list of things that it collects per user or group chat. And more importantly, even though this data is being collected, it did not know where it stored the data or all the different systems that store the data. There's no data inventory. And he found through his red teaming exercises that 1,500 engineers across Meta, not just WhatsApp, but it has to be, because he only mentioned 1,200 engineers in WhatsApp. Other engineers in Meta could access user data without restriction, could find and you know, if a politician or an elected government official uses WhatsApp, they could literally find their location through their IP address and see who they were messaging. There was no audit log for things like this. There's no way to discover a data breach. It's just an open system that anyone can use. So he worked there. He reported this to leadership. He eventually kind of went around his managers and reported this to leadership. And he observed that Meta is like a cult. If you disagree and you question people's past work, especially leadership work, you will have problems. And no action was taken. They kind of just brushed it aside and was like, all right, we'll definitely do something about it. No actual progress happened. And he still continued to try and fix things. And the executive team and his managers were scared that he was going to say that they were non-compliant with that legal FTC order. Eventually, they started to do things to prevent WhatsApp engineers from spying on their exes through these things that we mentioned. And Bay continued to have his reputation ruined within the company. Now, the large takeaway from this is at their surface, these big tech companies look very impressive. They pay everyone a lot. But in reality, all the engineers are just doing busy work. This so-called marketing towards privacy and security, they don't even know how much data that they're collecting. This is coming from the head of security. This is not just another cog in the machine. This is the head of security saying that there was almost no security. Now, why would WhatsApp design a product that was going to fail by design according to its commitments to privacy and security? Well, one, maybe there is a reason. There's another purpose for WhatsApp besides losing billions of dollars a year. It's a very useful tool to collect information. And leaving that open to a large number of engineers where, hey, a lot of these engineers are from the US, some of them can be from other countries, Russia, China, Israel, other world players. Any one of these engineers, if approached, could gather data on anyone using WhatsApp. So it seems like a giant backdoor left open conveniently so WhatsApp can serve as its true function, which is a surveillance tool. That works for many people, but you can also be targeted. So now I'm going to say at least your metadata within WhatsApp, according to the suit that we can see that this person is going on record and risking their reputation, we can see that it's not private. Your metadata is not private on WhatsApp, and we really need to start using decentralized solutions that WhatsApp was originally built off of in the first place. WhatsApp was originally built off of XMPP. We need to all start using XMPP because it's something we can run ourselves, and we can individually have control over the metadata and what we see and find people that we trust to run their servers. It's pretty wild. These things aren't just alternatives to big tech, they are better. It's incredible that a company the size of WhatsApp could be doing things like this, but it does not surprise me whatsoever.